Hello, so good to see you.
Good to see you, Alex.
Trina, welcome to State Line.
Thank you.
The government plans to introduce legislation in September to ban no grounds evictions. What sort of penalties are you looking at and how would you enforce those?
The no grounds eviction reforms are proposing a simple but important change. If the rental property is staying on the market and the renter is doing the right thing and paying their rent, then they can stay in their home. And if the landlord needs to end the lease, then they can do that with genuine reasons and fair notice. The next step will be to ensure that the evidence requirements and the penalties are fit for purpose.
In Queensland, landlords who give false or misleading information on a notice to leave can be fined up to $8,000. Is that the degree of deterrence you're looking at?
The intention for the deterrence is to do exactly that, to prevent people from thinking that they can get away with it as a general cost of doing business.
So you're looking at a similar kind of fine?
I think that really will depend on the further consultation that we do with the experts. Every rental market is unique across Australia and we want to make sure that our penalties are fit for purpose for New South Wales.
One issue landlords have raised is that some tenants may be consistently late paying the rent but not late enough to trigger an eviction. Shouldn't owners have the right to choose who lives in their property?
If somebody is not paying the rent, they're damaging the property or they're doing the wrong thing, there are processes in place to ensure that those tenants can't remain in the property.
Do you accept that these reforms will remove some of the choice landlords have?
This doesn't remove their choice. It's a basic request to say, tell the tenant what you're doing with the property.
Currently, tenants can challenge a rent increase that they think is excessive. Homelessness New South Wales, the organisation that you used to lead, has recommended shifting the onus so that landlords must justify any increase above a reasonable threshold tied to inflation. Do you think that idea has any merit?
Rent increases are always a negotiation between the landlord and the tenant. At the end of the day, it's the landlord's right to set the market price, but if it exceeds that market price, then there are provisions for the tenant to challenge that.
The government was elected on a promise to make it easier for people to rent with pets. Your research has found that most renters support requiring landlords to give good reasons for refusing a pet, but also that most landlords oppose it. So is this a change you're planning to make, and if so, when?
Of all the things I've been out to talk to the community on, the issue of pets has the most diverse views. There's some people are really passionate about having pets in their home. It's a member of the family. It's very important to them in terms of their health and well-being. For others, their experiences in life have meant that for them, that's quite a scary proposition. They may not like animals, they may not be an animal lover, and for them, they don't understand the same connections that others might have.
Given how contentious this issue has been, is it still something that you're working to reform policy on, or is it just going to be too hard?
Look, I would say we're absolutely committed to that, and the government have made it an election commitment to make it easier for renters to have pets, and the work continues.
Another election promise was a portable bond scheme so that tenants don't have to stump up the cost of a new bond before their old one is returned. When will this be introduced and why is it taking so long?
If you think about the back end of portable rental bonds, we're talking about a product that holds $2 billion for 1 million bonds. So it's quite a technical, back end system. The system itself is out for tender at the moment and we're working to select a vendor, which we hope to do in the coming weeks. The next stage will be to start the build and we hope to bring the scheme online in the second half of next year.
You've said publicly you grew up in social housing and that's shaped your belief in protections for renters. I'm wondering what current life experience you bring to the role of rental commissioner. Do you rent or own your home and have you ever been a landlord?
I've rented for a long time in my life. The first home I ever rented was at the age of 16. I'm no longer a renter, but I'm also not a landlord.
Often people who want to get out of the rental market and into their own home are outbid by property investors who have access to tax breaks like negative gearing. I know this is a federal issue, but do you have a view on whether negative gearing should be reined in?
I think what's important for me to focus on right now is the rental market within New South Wales. And we know that landlords are also doing it tough. They're experiencing challenges with interest rates increasing. And we want to support them as well to ensure that they know the rules and that they're supported to continue to deliver the much needed rental homes in New South Wales.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.